Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is James and I am a hobby scrapper. And today I've got some of these random items that I want to scrap. I got a George Foreman here, some really nice cast aluminum. This is some sort of mystery box. I'm not sure what it is. This looks like it is some sort of massager. We have an electronic ballast, but it's got an aluminum case, a TV remote, a mouse, and some window blinds. But before we get started, I'm testing out a new microphone for my iPhone, which is how I record my videos. So I would really appreciate it if y'all would give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know what you think of the audio, if you like it or not. Let's start out with this mouse here, nice and simple. So I'll go ahead and clip that wire. That's just going to be low grade wire. But on the end here, if you can look through the hole and you can see that the pins are gold plated, you can sell those to like places like boardsort.com as a gold connector end, or maybe your scrapyard. Check with them. But these are like over $3 a pound. All right, now there's typically not a lot of stuff you're going to find in a mouse, but I did once find a chunk of brass in a wireless mouse, so you just never know. So the best way to get into this is just grab a hammer. This one probably had screws. Sometimes they're just clipped together. And there it is, a little circuit board. Nothing on the back side. So not really a whole lot going on in here. Clip off the rest of that wire. That would be some sort of IC chip. Now, can you put these into the shred? If you had one or two in a nice load, no problem. I wouldn't bring in a whole bunch of these because, as you saw, it's just a lot of plastic. But hey, it does all add up. And the next is a TV remote or any sort of remote. I've had people ask me about these. Again, can you put these into the shred? Maybe one or two, but a whole bunch? I don't think your scrapyard would like that. You'll see why. Okay, so there is one screw here, but you don't always need to undo the screws because there ain't much going on in here. And there's your circuit board. Pretty boring, huh? And these, typically going to be magnetic. Although on this broken part right here, there is one IC chip that we can remove. That's just going to go into the shred. And there you go. You can see those are pretty worthless. But do keep in mind, sometimes on remotes, these pads are gold coated. And if that's the case, then you want to save those for your gold recovery. All right, we're just blowing through these nice and easy ones. Now, these are from window blinds. Typically, they're going to be plastic, but every once in a while, they are made from aluminum. Magnet doesn't stick. One way you can tell that it's aluminum is you fold it in half, it stays folded. If that's plastic, it would have bounced back. Of course, the number one way to tell is just take a file to it, and you file into it, and you said, oh yeah, that is definitely aluminum. So how do we get this clean? Well, you cut the strings, and then super easy. And then the base here, that is going to be steel, so that can go into your shreddable steel. So that is 10.35 ounces, so just a little over half a pound. So whatever you're getting for aluminum, that'll give you an idea. I mean, hey, it ain't much, but that was really easy. Okay, we have an electronic ballast. Now these are modern ones, which are going to be different than the old ballasts that are really heavy. A lot of scrapyards, they'll have two different prices. one for these electronic ballasts and then one for the larger ones. I have a video showing you how to scrap the old ones. I'll link that in the description if you want to check that out. But like I mentioned, this one has an aluminum case. So there's these tabs right here. We can just fold those up. It'll just make removing this a little bit easier. If you're one of those hammer time folks, smash and go, then just go straight to your hammer. That's not really my style. That's all right. Okay, so there is a clean piece of old sheet aluminum. And in here, just need to fold that down, and then you can get something under there to help get stuff moving. Well, it's supposed to cooperate, but it doesn't whenever you're making a video. All right, little fella. There we go. Okay. More clean old sheet aluminum. Now your scrapyard shouldn't care about that sticker on there, but again, ultimately you need to know your scrapyard. Let's unwrap our little Christmas gift. And much like the other style of ballast, it's coated in all of this like tar-like material. And there's little transformers under there. You can see the side of like one of those little yellow paper transformers. Anyways, now what you can do is your scrapyard should still buy this as an electronic ballast. All right, let's get into some more fun stuff. Now, I don't know what this box is. There really isn't any markings on here except for this check mark, which kind of gives me some Verizon vibes. So I'm not sure, was this a Wi-Fi booster or a cell phone extender? I don't know, but I do know it is scrap. It's screwed and there's some clips on there. Clip that off. I'll get that piece off because that's some gold coated material. That could be a gold connector end at boardsort.com. And there is what's inside. Whole lot of plastic. And there is a heat sink. That's going to be old sheet aluminum. Just clean those things off of there. Nice. Is that ready to come out? No, one more screw. Come on, scrap it all. Get it together. Now we're ready. Right? What is going on? And there's our board. I'll get these covers off in a moment to have a look at this. But yeah, this is pretty... Wah, wah, wah. Maybe there's something good under there. With another heat sink? By golly, I do believe it is. More old sheet aluminum, although we need to get these pieces of metal off of there. All right. More clean aluminum. There's a pretty nice gold band oscillator right there. That's nice. So I'm thinking this board is going to be a low-grade peripheral at board sort. There's a flat pack chip right there. So if you depopulate, board sort has their own price for those along with the IC chip. But if we're selling this as a complete board, we're going to leave those on there. Don't see anything awesome under there. Okay. So yeah, we got some gold pins here. And there's another one of those gold band oscillators. That came off of the wire. Keep it on my finger. And that is gold. So if you're into gold recovery, woohoo! If not, another gold connector end. Yeah, I would say that this can go as a low-grade peripheral board. And there's just a low-grade circuit board. Although there's a few IC chips we can recover. All right. So there is an electric motor. Okay, so is this silver-coated stuff on the circuit board? It's possible, but pretty much just a low-grade circuit board. These can go into the shred. More plastic. Let's have a look at this electric motor. Huh. Why isn't that one sliding out? Okay. So there's a little bit of goodies there. There's some capacitors that have silver in there, a little bit of copper. And then here is our motor. That's just going to be magnets. And so then you're left with an armature here. Check to make sure it's copper, because sometimes they can be aluminum. That one's definitely copper. I have a video showing you how you can scrap armatures. But if you don't want to, then leave that whole thing together and sell that as an electric motor. You can sell this as an electric motor, but now you would have lost all of that weight. But these ones, because these grooves are open, you can see, these aren't that difficult to clip some of the wire. Grab a top layer right here. We clip some of those wires. And now they will go through those grooves there. And so it's easy to unwind this copper. So you just keep going around to a top layer, clip what you can, undo what you can, and then eventually you'll have all the copper off of there. Now on here, these pieces are copper. Sometimes you can just grab a hold of them gently and peel them up. And now there is some pieces of copper. This is all going to be number 2 copper. So those just peel off there real easily. They don't always do that. And if that's not the case, then you can just crunch this and then just break up all this material and get your copper separated. Or, like I mentioned earlier, just sell that as an electric motor. Hey, what do you say we cook up some hamburgers? Oh, maybe not. But we can scrap it. All right, so this is a George Foreman grill, and this is all going to be cast aluminum. And there's going to be some screws in here. You just look around and locate wherever the screws are and try to get them removed. Not sure if that broke off or what. Yep, that screw broke. Oh well, it happens. Another broken one. Can't say I'm surprised. This thing is in really rough shape. I don't see anything there. Huh. Dang. This one might be a bear. The cool thing about cast aluminum is it's brittle, so if we have to, we can just start breaking stuff. All right. That sounds like a piece of plastic. Yep. Okay. Probably clip that off. We'll get the brass out of there. Get that piece of rubber off of there. And then we've got some insulated wire. You can strip that if you like, especially if you saw my homemade wire stripping video. That's a perfect candidate to see man, that is just really dirty. Okay, those screws need to come out so it can come off of that hinge. Come on, screws. Of course, one comes out and one strips. Okay. Do a little clipping action there. There we go. So this is a piece of cast aluminum. Of course, we need to clean it up a little bit. We got some steel here, and then the heating element runs around here. That's not too difficult to remove. Now, of course, I'll have to clean this up to get clean aluminum for it. But let's focus on the heating element. So I've got the thing clamped in my vise, and I'm going to start out with my claw hammer. This method typically works. It doesn't always, but that's just the way scrapping goes. A lot of times, if you can just start prying, that piece of the heating element, then you can use the claw part of the hammer. You just kind of work your way down and along. And you're kind of just prying it like maybe you're trying to pry a nail. And there it is. Now check with your scrapyard because they might have a certain price for heating elements. If not, then that would just go into the shreddable steel. Even though these kind of connectors are typically brass, for some reason on heating elements, they're magnetic. Probably has something to do with all the intense heat. But still got some stuff to clean up because the screws didn't want to come out and stuff broke. Now, if it wasn't super rusty, this thing would already be done and clean. But we can just clamp that little piece into the vise and then just lift up, and that just breaks off. And in fact, the whole thing broke with the screw, so that's the stuff I broke, but it's actually clean now. Okay, that came out. The screw's still in there. Cool. Clean cast aluminum. That's pretty heavy, actually. And here is the second one, which is identical what I just did. So I will do that off of camera, and then we'll have a look at everything I recovered and what it's worth. And there is a look at all the goodies that I recovered. Right here we have the electronic ballast. That is the stuff that has the screws in there, so that can go as dirty aluminum. Those are the IC chips. Gold connector ends, clean yellow brass. There is a copper number 2. Now your scrapyard might want the number 2 copper wire separate from like solid copper, which is that. If not, then it can all go together, but just find out from your scrapyard. There's an old sheet aluminum. That is insulated copper wire. Low-grade peripheral board at boardsort.com. Our shreddable steel. And then, of course, the cast aluminum. All right, let's go over the individual values of everything. There is 4 pounds, 6.1 ounces of clean cast aluminum and that is worth $2.06. There is 1 pound, 1.55 ounces of clean old sheet aluminum, and that is worth 65 cents. And that low-grade peripheral board is worth 50 cents at boardsort.com. That electronic ballast is 12 cents. And there's 16 cents in shreddable steel, 28 cents in insulated copper wire, 11 cents in gold connector ends at boardsort.com. There is 18 cents in clean copper number 2, 5 cents in IC chips at boardsort.com. There is 3 cents in clean yellow brass, and 1 cent in dirty aluminum. And that gives us a grand total of $4.05. Heck yeah, I will take that all day long. I had fun, I recycled, and I made a little bit of money. That's a win-win-win in my book. Well, that is going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something. And definitely let me know what you think of the audio. All right, I'm going to say a quick little prayer and then wrap this video up. God, I just want to say thank you for another day. And Lord, I just want to say thank you for all these wonderful people who support my channel, Lord. I'm just so thankful that they found my channel, that they enjoy it, that they learn from it. And so, God, I just pray that you will bless these people, Lord. Just whatever it is that they need, God, I pray that you will bless them for the wonderful things that they've done for me, God. So I just lift them all up to you in prayer. I pray over them now, and in the mighty name of Jesus, I pray, amen. All right, my scrappy friends, until next video, God bless you.